Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Foster's After Show.
Wrestling buddy, wanna be your buddy.
Yes, we are getting guys, let's do some intros. I'm Jeffrey Masters. I tweet from @JeffMasters1.
I'm Stephanie Giorgi, and I tweet from @StephanieGiorgi.
And I'm Jillian Leff, and what you heard was a mega mix of the Foster's theme.
Yes.
You can tweet me @Jillian Leff, although I'm having a little bit of trouble with Wi-Fi tonight, so if I don't get to all of your tweets, I sincerely apologize.
We'll get it. We'll get through the week, too. We love tweeting with you. We'll continue to do that. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube and leave us a comment there. A lot of interesting discussion on YouTube, I have to say. Mm-hmm. A lot of people disagreeing with us, and that's okay. Everyone makes bad decisions. Just kidding.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody
has those days.
What a reference.
Okay,
before we get into like the meat of the episode, I think we need to jump into the bomb that was dropped at the very end.
Yes, because Jeff did not allow us to speak about it until we were on air.
Yes.
I had to keep shushing stuff. So here we are. We're talking about it. Sally came out with the Monty kissed me bomb. What do you think, Steph? I'm going to let you say it finally.
Thank you. So I was just wondering that if Monty really did that, then I feel like there's a good possibility that she also posted that little thing between her and
the tweet?
The tweet. I also think that she might have posted the tweet, because if that's the case, it would make sense that maybe psychologically she's stuck in this like younger place where, because she's been in this high school area, she's starting to do all these things when she was younger. And now that she has this new experience and is trying to figure herself out, what if she was attracted to this young girl who seems to be very, powerful and controlling of herself and very mature for her age?
Yeah, she has a catch. And this is the tweet we're talking about is from like 2 or 3 episodes ago that was saying that Lena kissed the principal. I don't remember the exact phrasing.
That they were a little couple.
Yeah, it was
that
like
they
a
had an
little.
affair
It
or
was like a
something.
little GIF.
Right.
I was like speechless. We kind of all looked at each other like, no, because I think the way that they set it up with the episode and the way that she was like super passionate about R&J, it was kind of like, all right, is she gonna say something that has to do with suicide, since she was so passionate about it and so emotional about it? Again, love when the writers trick us, because I wasn't expecting that. But then when she confessed the kiss, it sort of played back in my head all the times that Monty was super passionate about it, and how she's keeping her distance from Sally and her senior project and all these things. And I don't know.
Wait, how Monty was passionate about Sally? What do you mean?
Yeah, she was super passionate about her senior project, and she helped her get all of the plants and the donations, and Lena was like, I don't think it's fair.
For the garden that she was doing.
Yeah. So
and now she's stepping back and saying, like, I got you the donations for it, but I can't be that involved.
Exactly. And she's almost doing it to appease Lena, which it was like a battle the last episode just between them with this specific senior project, and sort of like bending the rules, and when it's right to bend the rules and when it's wrong to bend the rules.
Yeah.
So this was really surprising to me, and I don't know if like we even need to raise the question of, do we think that it actually happened? Because I feel like this student wouldn't make it up. Why would she make it up?
She's part of the honor board. I feel like she seems very... Like I said, she doesn't seem like a hot mess.
But if I'm gonna not trust somebody, I'm gonna not trust... This sounds so weird phrasing-wise. Sorry, if I'm not gonna trust somebody, I'm not gonna trust this 18-year-old. Versus...
Is she 18?
She's a senior in high school.
Which, that brings up a whole... Yeah, but is Brandon 18?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This 17 or 18.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mean like a legality issue, which that brings up a massive other issue.
Yeah.
I just meant the fact of like high schoolers lie because they don't know better, and it's okay, Right. But versus this I don't know how old Monty's supposed to be, but she's the principal of school. And up until the current time right now, I've trusted her. Mm-hmm. She has done some like things that I wouldn't have like supported, but I understand why she would have done it. And I think this is so out of character for her that the only excuse I could think ever would just be that her heart's broken.
Yeah, but you know what, sweetheart? Guess what? Find someone else, not one of your students. And let's say Sally is 18. It doesn't matter. It's one of your students. It's like it's a campus thing. It's a school thing. Like,
right.
Get out of here.
Yeah, we actually have a tweet came in from Baby Mason. Hey, how are you doing? Appreciate the follow.
Hey, Baby Mason.
It says, at Jillian Leff, I don't know how people make the jump from crushing on an older woman you're close friends with to preying on an underage student, which...
It just doesn't make sense to me because it is her student.
Something
That's
doesn't
not going to be a
add up.
secret. Okay, gut reaction. Do we think yes or no we believe Sally?
It's hard because it like, okay, so...
It's pass fail. Yes, you believe her. No, you do not. What do you think? Give it to me.
I guess I have to believe her.
You believe Sally?
Well, because think about it. Look at the news right now, okay? This whole like Kesha, Dr. Luke thing with the sexual assault.
By the person in the power position.
Exactly. So there's obviously two sides to everything. There's a he said, there's a she said. In this case, it's a she said. And I have to side with the victim in this sense, which is the student, because we don't know any other information. I hope it gets cleared up in this next episode. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Lucky for us, we have actually the actress that plays Monty coming in next week.
Annika.
So we'll get to ask her face to face.
Annika was here last season and she was the best. No offense to our other guests. I was just so like overwhelmed with how thoughtful and like retrospective she was. Introspective, not retrospective.
I would assume that she's going to have some great answers to our questions next week.
I'm glad that it's happening after next week, so we'll know some more things. We can hound her. Steph, you believe Sally or do not?
My initial reaction was like, yeah, right. But no, because only if I was in Lena's position, I would think yes, because she's already crossed the line too many times.
So yes, believe Sally.
I do believe so.
Wow, we're 2-0 so far.
What do you think?
Do not believe Sally.
Okay.
And I think that the writers have made it easy to believe her because we know that Monty does have attraction to women, and this really, why would Sally know that? But I don't think that there's a connection to that.
So, Leander, hey, tweeted, just because Sally doesn't look like a hot mess doesn't mean she's not capable of doing something messy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I say the same thing about myself.
Right. Okay. So now thinking about it, the only other thing I would think of also is because Sally saw that tweet, used it against Monty, and what if Sally was the one that crushed on Monty throughout all that help and then was denied and then wanted to get her in trouble?
Yeah, so
I get what you said from the beginning, that kids, they do some stuff because they know that they can.
Yeah.
So someone else is with you. CJ Houston said, what if she kissed Monty and Monty said no?
Oh, no.
That would make a lot of sense. Oh, you know what? Sally has proven to be a really smart character. She kisses Monty. Monty's like, whoa, I'm your principal. And she tries to get ahead of the issue.
Right.
He's like, I'm going to...
That's a possibility as well.
Oh, man. I don't know. I just think that she's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the way that my mind worked as like a 17-year-old. I would have... I didn't like boldly lie like this kind of stuff, but I definitely like tarnish the truth to like make me look better.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would do that to talk about the principal to the vice principal and make such a bold accusation.
Right.
Like a lot of people are actually agreeing with your theory, more than one person. So I think that it could be plausible. It's just hard because for me, when someone sort of says that something happened, I immediately like am so empathetic towards the situation. Like that's just me as a person. So to side with them, it's like, oh, of course, until you find out more information. But I think that what you said could definitely be true.
And what she said wasn't ambiguous.
No. No.
It wasn't like, wait, what are you trying to say? It was very direct.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next week. I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks as well.
Yikes.
I thought it was really interesting to Sally's response to R&J. It came from such like a personal level too. That's hard to devalue that. it's hard to say, like, I'm sorry about your, like, friend's sibling, but, like, we're doing this show. So, like, I don't know what the right response is. I also don't think that putting it in the hands of the students of the honor board was that. I just don't think that you should ever, I feel like I'm, like, saying this kids are horrible, but I don't think that they, and maybe I think that. I just don't think that kids know what's best for them.
They don't, which is why you can't make decisions on your own until after you're 18, because you're a hot mess. And exactly what Brandon said within that speech is that play is more or less about these two impulsive, rebellious teens who don't know the value of their lives and don't know the value of everything else around them. Yeah. So it was crazy I loved his argument, but at the same time, which now is making me think that Sally did lie. How dramatic to want to, like, what was your point? What were you going to get out of making Brandon not, like, complete his senior project? And I get that she said that her best friend's
brother or sister, I forget
hung herself because her boyfriend broke up with her, but at the same time, get out of here. What does that have to do with Shakespeare?
It should, well, like, things like a suicide will, like, spawn more. It's like the suicide pact, that's like dramatized version of it based on true
and then if someone
events.
thinks it's cool, then they're gonna want to do it.
It just kind of, like, puts the option in people's head to, like, black and white the issue. So I get that, and I get that she thinks it's glorifying it, but I like that he came back and was like, no, like, Shakespeare actually wrote, like, whoa. Yes. He ended the story with, like, saying this is whoa. And I don't think it's romanticizing it. I don't want to, like, devalue what she said, because I get it, but I just think it's a little extreme.
Well, we've also all studied Romeo and Juliet, and I feel like we all had the same feeling going into it. Are they really having this conversation? At least that's what I thought. I was like, is this really a thing right now?
Well, I think it was because she's in the grieving process still for her friend's sister.
Right. Oh, man. But also he... he made a point too, like, that's one step away from just throwing books away.
Yeah.
To dismiss literature that way, because
some books are banned. I don't know, some schools, I guess you can decide whether you want to ban a book or something, but for me, I think with them allowing the play to carry on, I think that it still sends a message to the artistic and creative students that your outlet is being met, and yes, you can do this off campus, and it kind of sucks, but here you go.
I think there's a way to please both parties, and it's to let the show go on, and, like, to give kids the resources if they are thinking about killing themselves, and, like, just, like, to, like, talk about it more versus silencing it completely.
Yeah. I immediately thought when they were having the conversation and Brandon lost the vote, I thought, like, oh, maybe they're gonna change the ending, like, to be something else, or maybe they'll talk about, like, the way that the Fosters did in the beginning of the episode, flash sort of like a suicide prevention message. Yeah. Something like that. I was like, oh, this sounds totally like, free form. Like, oh my God, they're going to do this. And, obviously they're going to keep it the way it is, but.
Of course. But I like the warehouse scene. We're still getting an R&J.
Right. I know.
I think that's great.
Which, it's going to be so sick. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah. Also, there's no, like, rules now. They can do it in the warehouse. They can, like, buff that up. There's no, like, they can doing lighting at the wazoo.
Yeah, the scenery is going to be great. Like, how they're going to make it.
And also, I've been wondering the whole time, we're such Ashley Argota fans. Like, she doesn't go to that school anymore. So now, like, that's how they can bring her in.
Well, that'd be great if she could.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah. And Corbin Bleu.
Oh, yeah. We haven't seen him yet, right?
No.
Okay, I just want to check my memory.
No, I don't know. I feel like this style is going to be very similar to the Romeo and Juliet that Jeff and I saw in LA, just because there was no scenery. It was basically just them sort of like standing, going in between the audience. There were platforms, and I feel like this really is a great space for it. They're just going to have everyone stand around and they're going to act around them.
Yeah, it was a thrust stage. It's going inside. Like, they can build anything they need in the warehouse.
If they needed to. And the warehouse itself, should they not have anything to prep it, is very rustic. So I like that it would kind of put you in the setting of Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. I think it's going to be awesome.
And Nick obviously is going to outfit the whole thing with any lights that they need, because only child syndrome. He's like, oh, I'll just ask Daddy.
The perks of being spoiled.
Just ask Daddy.
It's going to become like a community production too. Nick's dad's going to produce it. It's going to be great.
It's good.
So we have 4 more episodes in this season. Do we know, is it the season finale or is it the one before?
It's the one before.
It's the one before.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oh my God, this is too exciting. I have no idea what they're going to do with it.
Then it's nice that it's episode 19, because then we get to decompress, because I feel like we're going to have a lot to talk about, and also we're going to have a lot of guests that episode, maybe 4 or 3. We'll see.
Ooh, it's a teaser.
And also one person that has never been on our show before. So if you're a loyal fan, you can look out for that.
Brad Pitt's never been on our show.
Oh my God, he's coming.
Oh, Connected the Fosters. Jennifer Lopez has never been on our show.
Yeah, I got J-Lo actually. Talked to her
That's
agent
so exciting.
today.
I would die. I would die.
Stop it. Okay, guys, I have a confession.
Yes.
And I hate saying this. But people change, opinions evolve. I am so on Team Nick right now.
Okay, me too.
I thought you were going to say, I want Rally back.
Oh, no.
That's never happening.
No,
That's never happening.
No,
Okay,
get outta
to be
here.
fair, last week I was not here and I did not watch Jeff and Hannah, but
That's so
I
offensive.
did tweet so much crap about Nick because I was not here for it.
I saw that.
Now, you did?
Yeah.
Now he's growing on me. He's growing on me. I feel like maybe there could still be a chance for Matiana when she performs, and maybe they'll fall in love because they are Romeo and Juliet. But I think that Nick is super cute and
I appreciate his EQ level right now.
really
Right.
trying. He's really trying, which surprises me.
He is trying so hard. He showed up at her window like Romeo.
Yes,
well,
that was the
hilarious.
best part, yeah.
What won me over, though, was the fact that he was justifying the car race scene by saying that he was hitting on you.
Yeah.
And he was, like, sticking up for her and, like, wanting to impress her still. In execution, get a D+.
Right.
But, like,
You didn't
motivation,
fail.
an A, baby. I think it's so sweet. I find him to be so charming. I like that he didn't get, like, one no, and he's, like, still going after her.
Exactly.
To be fair, I think that if this was anyone else, he would do the same Nick routine that he does. But because Mariana is playing hard to get and giving him a hard time, I think that it's sort of a match made for us because he's challenged for the first time. I feel like girls tend to just fall at his feet.
Right.
He has that charm. We know boys and girls like that get whatever they want.
I want to be one of them.
It's nice to see from the other side, though. And as far as an official ship name, we have Marianic. We do.
What does that sound like? Is that a drink?
That's true. I
Mariana.
just love that Mariana is truly her daughter's mother. The daughter of her mother's, because the way it's not just that she's playing hard to get, but she's giving him logic and reason. And do you know how many girls? I mean, I possibly could have been that person also, where I couldn't just tell them no because it's not the right thing to do, because you don't want to sound like such a cornball. But she does not give two ishs about it because it is what it is. And I love that she has such powerful women to look up to, that when she gives someone the reasoning, like, no, that was not, what did she say? It's not cool or reckless driving, something about it's not safe if you're going in and out between cars and driving fast, no matter what you think.
Right.
Oh no, you're not in control of your car if you're
Right.
driving recklessly. It's so easy to say that, and I feel like other girls would be like, no, that's cool, like, oh, he's driving fast, that's so hot. She's like, no, I don't want to die.
But also that, as opposed to, like, no, you freaked me out. But she's, like, giving the reason.
Yeah, everything, and that you're just not emotionally capable of even understanding what I'm saying.
It's just because she has high emotional intelligence.
Exactly.
I love how they communicate together.
Yes, his rebuttal was fantastic.
Yeah, he's, like, so charming, and I don't think she is coming across as playing hard to get. Like, we recognize it as playing hard to get, but I don't think she's consciously doing it. She just knows that her worth.
Yes,
and she doesn't want to waste her time on something dumb.
Absolutely.
It's really awesome.
God, we love you.
We're taking notes, baby.
Yes, no, like I really am going to do that.
And then check the segue. The perfect way to win her over was also helping her brother, as we segue into Drunk Jesus section.
But I don't think that was like a calculated move on his
No,
part.
but I
Neither
think it
do I,
definitely
but-
added bonus points.
It did, and at least we got to see a sincere side of him. So he's not just trying to be the cool guy. Like
He's not
he
just
found a
trouble.
friend in Jesus, so he wants to look out for him.
Yeah,
He understands
exactly.
that.
Also, how much of the viewers love that he made Mariana sing while on the hoverboard?
Cute.
Yes.
I can't get over her voice. It's so just like rich and mature
Yes.
that I just don't expect it ever.
I love
I
it.
feel like if her single hasn't come out yet, it's coming out really soon.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And her style is always on point. Did you see that shirt she was wearing on the hoverboard?
Listen,
So cute.
her personal style is great too. Her
That's what I'm
Instagram
saying.
is
Yeah,
very
all
sassy.
day. I like.
I will have to follow her. I mean, I already do follow her. Okay, we got to see this thing about Jesus. Did this
Yeah.
come across as a little sudden to anybody?
for him to act like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I get it because mind you, the way Mariana felt about her mom, because as a woman you identify with that, he doesn't have that male role model, excuse me. And so when he sees this guy who not only is like, I think you can identify a man as either being like attractive or not attractive. Gabe is built tall, is a builder, or a construction worker, so it's not necessarily something bad, but then to be kind of rejected on top of that after not even letting him know, I can see why he's hurt and he just wanted to be around. Now that he's older, kids kind of see what other people do to make themselves feel better, so I feel like that's what he thought would be the right thing to do,
Do you think he's self-medicating from his daddy issues? That sounds so horrible.
But I think that it was okay. Kids need to make this mistake, and I personally love how Steph handled it, even though that Lena thought it was a little bit too hard. Because he needs, as a man, like, you need something stern and not like, sweetie, don't do that anymore. No.
And yet, I like that Lena softened it, but I like also that she didn't contradict Steph at all.
Yes, exactly.
I was like, yes, this partnership working well. And saying it felt sudden to me. I think the storyline played okay, and I actually enjoyed it. I think it's an interesting direction, but we just haven't seen him drinking for a long, long time. Maybe there was a house party somewhere. And then so for him to be going through the freezer and opening up and pouring it,
and by
I was
himself,
like, whoa.
That's what was a little bit freaky too.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a problem with kids drinking that's gonna happen, but you don't do it before school.
Yeah. And alone though too, I think.
Yeah, it was, even Mariana said it, right. He called her out for drinking, and she's like, well, I was at a party, you were alone on a Monday, how pathetic is that? And honestly, he shouldn't be doing it anyway, but on top of that, never steal alcohol from your parents and then fill it with water and put it back in the freezer, because it freezes. Water freezes. Alcohol doesn't. They didn't address it in the show. I was like, oh my God, well, I made that mistake
when I
was 17 years old. I made that mistake. Of course I did.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Of course I did.
7? Oh my God,
17.
New Jersey. Oh, I was like, girl, New Jersey, they start early.
Oh my God.
You were 17.
But seriously, water freezes, alcohol doesn't. I was like, oh my, Steph's drinking it. I'm like, how long was that in the freezer for?
Right, girl, that didn't even look chilled. Your martini did not look bruised.
I missed that phase of life. I didn't know that.
I never did that
I like
either.
that that's what stood out to you.
No, but it's true. Honestly, it happens. There's a moment in everyone's life. I feel like everyone has that story about when they first got really, really drunk. We'll have to save that for another day. But, it happens, and it's sort of a part of, growing up, and it's sort of how your parents handle it, because they always find out, so don't think you're not going to get caught.
No, but I was also scared because I would have gotten my ass beat, so I had to make sure not to do bad things.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was really alarming to see him so affected, and for the first thing for him to go after to be alcohol, it reminded me sort of the way that Anna dealt with addiction and coping with drugs. And I feel like, when a parent deals with that, it's more likely that a child could deal with it. We see a lot of, they call it the addiction gene that gets passed down, and it's sort of proven. Mm-hmm. So it was a little bit alarming, but I do think that even though, like you said, Steph was a little bit out of line, she really brought it home to him. And sort of the end when he brought her, she brought him to that class, and she was calm, and she spoke with intelligence.
She sure did.
It hit us. It hit him in the heart.
Yeah.
He listened finally.
Yes.
He wasn't listening before.
And that's the thing, though. When you're continuously soft, it's one of those things where it's predictable. You're not going to be scared. That would make me, I'm going to do this. Why? Because we're just going to have a little lecture when we get home. Nothing will happen. Don't worry about it. Yeah. But then to see your mom react in a different way means that she's serious. So that things can elevate. They can show me a different side of them. And I loved the way that she did it. Yes, she can talk to him later about how the way she did at least publicly in front of everyone else, that she didn't have to react that way, but I needed my point to be taken. And also I want to mention that I loved that kid Javier. I kind of liked his little role in this episode a lot. Yeah, because I just remember those kids in high school, because I always identified myself with not identified myself. My friends were always the ones who were in juvie and coming in, whatever. And it's frustrating because now I get it. I mean, I didn't get it then, but that's all what their issues were.
Yeah, and then they mentioned last week with Ty, when you lock somebody up for really dumb reasons, instead of giving them just a little a nudge and saying this can't happen, you're breeding people who like hate the justice system,
Right.
for a great reason. With the kid Javier who threw the hummus away, though, I'm Jewish. You don't waste hummus like that. I was horrified.
That's what you took from that, Jeff? Oh my
The
God.
lid was on. They could grab it.
I know. I was like, that was a big tub. That was Costco.
Yeah. I will say, though, we go from Jesus being drunk and them yelling to the most beautiful brother-sister moment.
Oh my God.
Because
cried.
Mariana runs into Gabe. There's not any bit of interaction. And just like that, this twin bond.
Yeah. It must have been really like impressionable for them because, you know, we hear about Anna, and they've been mentioned, but they just never, from like, at least from the beginning, they had something with their mother. So they had some sort of an idea and memory of her. Whereas with their father, they knew nothing. Yeah. And for Mariana to kind of hear of him and then see him, like she said, he was tall. Like, I bet you she saw him and she was like, oh my God, my dad's kind of beautiful. You know?
Yeah. And like, how can you not look for your...
she's tall like you. Like...
Yeah, how can you not look for your brother's, like, traits, too?
Yes, exactly. Which I think Gabe looked at her and saw himself, and if he said he was really in love with Anna, saw Anna in her, and that was really nuts.
Yeah, there's something just about, like, the recognition, too, when you haven't seen somebody, too, and, like, it was amazing. And then heartbreaking, of course.
Yeah.
So heartbreaking. I wasn't prepared for it, although Steph did cry. I did not. I couldn't.
Because I love them.
I couldn't.
And you know, I'm such a sucker where I like these, and maybe because my family was so dramatic, I want these moments of Stephanie getting mad and of Mariana and Jesus, you know, having that twin bond and loving each other in that moment, like, because only them know what they've been through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just so beautiful. I loved it. The Fosters is so good.
And you know, it just like sucks people like this where like on paper Gabe did break the law, but it was such a dumb mistake as a kid, and he's gonna live with this the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
He will be on the sex offender list, and it's I think that's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking.
He didn't know what he was doing. And then just to see the scene with Steph where she's processing everything, and it's the father of your children who you love so much, and legally he can't be with you, so then the law's in her mind as well. It was just like the stiltedness of, I don't know what to say because I'm uncertain of how I should react on like a professional level, on a mother level, and I just saw that conflict
when
in
he
her
was
face.
speaking to them.
Yeah,
and all she could say is like, absolutely, which is funny because we really never see Stephanie like that, and they couldn't even be angry at him because he said, look, this like point.
Well, to be fair, I have many people tweeting me about Gabe and their thoughts on Gabe, but Leander just sent me a behind-the-scenes photo.
Leander, man, you stay sending this stuff like that.
Brandon Quinn, who plays Gabe, and there's a cop car outside of the storage unit where they're going to have the performance.
No.
So I'm thinking that he shows up to see Mariana perform and he gets arrested. At least that's like my best bet right now.
Oh, but he's gonna be around all of those minors.
Yeah. So that's,
my gosh.
I feel like that's like if that's the clue that they're giving us with this, or the actor posting it on his Instagram, who knows if he was even allowed to do that. I think that that's where that's going, if it's true.
That really is sad. You want to know why? Because I kept thinking, let's say I met Brandon or Gabe in person, I would see him and he would be so attractive to me and tall and everything I would probably want in a guy. And if I found out he was a sex offender and if he told me that story, I don't know if I'd believe him. That's what's heartbreaking. You know, it's like, no, I bet you there's something more than that. So that's what's so difficult about being in that situation.
Well, our girl Lizette just tweeted that she thinks Steph is going to figure out something with Anna to fix it.
Me? What do you mean?
To make him not a sex offender anymore. I mean, you could figure out whatever you want with that man.
I don't know.
He's cute.
I always get confused sometimes when you guys say Steph.
Lizette, that's all right. There's so many like just intricacies with sex offender laws. Some of them are so crazy tight, and then also I don't know the legality of when eventually he does have his own kids.
Right.
If that happens, and like because he can't be around kids. Like, what is it with your kids? Like, I don't. And they can't ban someone from having kids, so I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I also don't know that since like if Anna can repeal it at all. I have no idea.
It's just a very real thing that, again, this show is bringing up. You know, they were in love and there was an age difference, and we see that a lot now of older people dating younger people, even like in this present day, and you know, figures in entertainment and pop culture. and it's not the way it was, I guess, back then, or people aren't thinking that, but it's a little heartbreaking because you can tell that he's just struggling, and for him to get this job was, and he knew that he was in the wrong, but he also was in love.
And but what's more heartbreaking is that, he was 18, she was 15.
Yeah.
They could have met when she was 13 and he was just 17, and you know what I'm saying? And then a certain age passes.
Yeah, and I don't want to make stereotypes at all, but for construction jobs, they usually don't have to do a background check. So that's probably why he's still he could be working that.
He got it through the family.
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
okay.
So they had hired him because remember Mariana's cousin was saying oh, my dad just hired him on a construction job, because that's where she knew he was.
It's very hard to find work when you're on the list from background checks.
Yeah.
So it's a hard life.
Yeah.
I would like to believe that we can trust him on face value, because right now we feel so much for them, for him, Gabe. I don't want them to turn it around and be like, nope, just kidding.
Yeah. Well, but fortunately he said that he's been out for 10 years, that's another thing though. He went to jail. Yeah, he went to jail for it, so that's ridiculous. But he's been out for 10 years. That's also on his record, yeah. Yeah. He's been out for 10 years and he has not gotten in trouble once. But isn't that crazy how...
Girl, I've been in trouble for things.
I know, but it's crazy that you could be in a situation like this after having had such a clean record for so long, and then your ass will get right back into jail. Excuse me.
That's true. Well, and like we said, if he wants to see, his own children, I didn't realize that, that's his desire. Actually, it's not. He said he doesn't not want to see them. But if that is his desire, how does that work? Does he have to wait till they're 18?
But he knows what the situation is. He was never part of their lives, so that they're adopted, I think. And that's what I liked about him. He respected that. And he said, please keep your son. He didn't have to hesitate or anything like that. Why would he even? I'm sure he doesn't even feel comfortable doing that. However, having seen Mariana, you saw it in his eyes. You saw it.
It was heartbreaking. I don't know. A lot of people are comparing Gabe and Hannah to Romeo and Juliet.
Oof.
That's all this is.
They couldn't be together. Star-crossed.
Oh,
I don't know. The whole situation is just... It's just a little weird to me. And I don't know if we're ever going to get, a resolution, because I still feel like with the scene that we saw with the twins, it's obviously affecting them. And I don't think they thought it was going to affect them. I feel like seeing Gabe in person changed that all.
Absolutely.
And who knows? They could see him when they turn 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when they said, they made a point to say, did you ever think our dad would be not Latino? I think that kind of surprised them also. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it was low-key a good thing for them, or just a pleasant surprise or something like that. I think they just really expected him to be some nasty scumbag.
Well, I don't think race has anything to do with the scumbagness, but I just think that they I would just assume they didn't even assume a race.
Right.
I think they probably just thought he was just a junkie, which is what Anna said. Just another person that she met while she was
someone gross,
not sober,
low life.
Yeah, when you find out something bad about somebody like that, sometimes it's just easier not to think about it any further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's just because if not, then you get upset.
At least they have each other.
Yeah,
I guess that's sort of the be-all end-all of the situation. At least now, the two twins have each other.
They do, yeah.
And that they were lucky to stay together, thank God.
I'm happy that she came in and checked on Jesus, and that Jesus recognized that she understood him when she said that she noticed how tall he was. I think that's what he was thinking too.
Yeah, and I liked his recognition too when Steph was talking in her class. It was interesting to see her in the teacher dynamic. We usually see Lena in that role. And to Steph, have her be the teacher and not be that great at it. She was just kind of preaching to a class and wasn't checking in to see if they're listening. She was just kind of talking and lecturing. And I thought that was an interesting choice that I enjoyed seeing. So
I love those.
I liked how she opened up to them towards the end. I thought that was really nice because she's never talked about her breasts with anyone since sort of the surgery, and it's sort of exclusive to a Lena conversation and not everyone else. So for her to open up to a room of sort of these troubled kids to get a point across, I thought that was very brave of her because it seems like she's been very fearful of having the conversation with anyone and admitting that she has pads and, you know, like she doesn't have tits. And it's like, first of all, loved that they used the word tits. I thought that was great. I'm like,
because a kid like that would. That's, yeah. And I love that he said you could have told me I hurt your feelings. And because it brought her down to their level. Like, guess what? Just because I'm a white blonde woman doesn't mean that my life is perfect. Yeah. And I think that they all needed to recognize that. And so when she just had to give it to them real, it's like, that's how you communicate to these kids. Letting them know that, guess what? I'm a person just like you. And
you don't know what someone's going through. You're saying tits, and I'm saying no.
No, I don't have any. Thank you for saying it, though.
And, like, thanks for reminding me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty heartbreaking. We have to move to the Callie and AJ little, like, love story, their R&J story.
Yeah. Okay.
I felt bad that every time they kissed, Brandon was in the shadow. Like,
oh my God. That's why I'm like, Bradley is not over. I am, like, still... Call me the captain of that ship because it's still about to sail.
I'll be your first mate.
And yeah, when Brandon was explaining that Shazer ended R&J was saying there was never a story of more woe, they cut to Callie, and I could see her just like processing like, yeah, this is full of woe.
Yeah, and she clapped for him, and I think that it was nice to see Brandon not be so sulking in their story, because I think for a little bit she might have been annoyed, but to see Brandon be a man and be like, look, you know what? Maybe it was nothing, and maybe it was just a mistake that we made, because more or less that's what he was saying. And I think because Callie's quick to learn now and not just push things away, she accepted that speech and she accepted it to her own life, and, you know, started that little round of applause.
But you know what pissed me off? When Callie confronted Brandon at the locker and said, you know, I would have told you about AJ sooner, and Brandon was like, oh, well, you know, actually, like, I guess there's something that I have to tell you. It's like, first of all, Brandon, why are you getting mad at Callie right now when you were making out with some girl with a kid?
Not a girl, a mom.
A mom with a kid. But I'm just like, are you serious right now? Like, what is... Brandon is so hung up. It's like... And I get that, like, love is love, but, like, it's a little, like, puppy pathetic. I'm like, are you going to move on?
Well, no,
like,
he said, I guess it's fair. He's like, no, it's fine. I have something that I have to tell you something I haven't told you either. He said that.
No, but the way that he was acting and reacted to the AJ news.
But because it was like an attack, and she, you know, she's been acting so casual and she's been mean to him about it, which sometimes I think is unfair because it happened to him also, and it's not like he wants to live with his sister. But Callie's reaction was also silly. Like, oh, she was like, what? And it's like, what? You can do it, but he can't? Ooh, I think you're on Callie's side and I'm on Brandon's.
I'm not on anyone's side. I think that they're both screwed up.
I have a problem with you labeling it as love, the Brandon relationship. He's not in love. Why are you doing this to me, Brandon? I have an important question.
Yeah.
I need clarified. I take notes while we watch the episode.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I missed something or not.
You tell me.
Why? I will, Jillian.
Okay.
Why was AJ shirtless and they're helping Jesus up the stairs?
That was hilarious.
Just because that's what happens when you're kids. You don't remember seeing a guy shirtless, especially if he had white boxers. I died.
No, that's no. Wait, what? No, I'm asking why he was shirtless.
Okay, so he was like in bed.
He was in bed.
He was in bed, right?
Like, why couldn't he just put a shirt? There are so many guys who are just comfortable. Like, they don't need to put their shirt back on.
No, AJ was sleeping at
so
their
Mike was
house.
out of town.
Oh.
Yes, but where were you? You were in La La Land, huh? Mike's out of town. Jude is away.
How many vacations does Jude take?
I don't know. Jude, apparently Connor's coming back next episode. Somebody just tweeted me that.
Do we think Jude will be there too?
Fingers
I'm sorry,
crossed.
I've never heard of more school field trips. I have nothing else to add about that. But okay, that makes so much sense. So AJ was sleeping there overnight. Mm-hmm. Thank you for clarifying. That's huge for me. I'll cross off my complaint list.
All right.
I also crossed Jude off, but just for this episode. I think that they're going to really anger the fans. Fans want Jude.
Well, he is going to be coming back. He's actually coming on our show for the finale, so... He's in, I know he's in episode 19 and 20. I can't speak for the rest of them, but I know he's in those two. Anyway, I'm still just torn up about this Brandon and Callie thing because I feel like they are both in the wrong. They're just pissing me off.
But for right now, it's so cute. Their relationship of, hey, yep.
Yeah, but Brandon is he's just like brooding. It's stewing. Unless he's with that girl.
Yeah, he's Brandon.
But it's like, oh my God. Yeah. Let me roll my eyes. They're going to stick if I keep doing it. Like, just, you know, it's just like a little frustrating. We see in the next episode, right? We watched the preview that there's an interaction between Courtney and Brandon and AJ and Callie, and we see that there are obviously like still feelings there, and
it just goes to show you
they both know. AJ and Courtney both know that like they're still unresolved.
Selena Gomez knows also with the heart wants what it wants. She said it before, she'll say it again. We'll hear it.
But she also can't keep her hands to herself.
You're right.
But
I mean,
why would
she
want
could,
to?
but why would she want to?
We're so good! I'm sorry, I just yelled so loud in there.
Okay. I'm over AJ. That's not true. I'm just over talking about him at the very moment.
Yeah. Well, we can move on.
We're going to.
No, I was just gonna say that I do. The heart does what it wants, and you can't. I mean, yes, he's brooding, but you can't blame. I can't blame him.
I don't think I'm blaming. It's just like if you say that you're going to like sort of. I feel like Callie is showing better face about moving on
until she sees him with someone. But that's the thing. What Callie doesn't understand. She has her distraction where Brandon didn't. When you have your distraction, life is easy peasy until you see somebody with who you don't want to see.
I agree with you. So this is the first time that he's seeing Courtney.
And that's why AJ says something because he's because she probably had to make some smirk remark like, "Who's this girl?"
Here's hoping.
I love drama. She just keeps hitting repeat.
Drama.
Okay, we need to segue into the more somber storyline. They've done such a good job of interweaving like storylines for one episode through every group. So we have the R&J and like Nick and Mariana, the actual play, every character ever, and then the suicide also reflected in the Rita's daughter Chloe storyline. I thought this was really dramatic.
Yeah.
I also think that they raised the issue of when someone's crying wolf and they've done it 1,000 times, when do you believe them when it's about their life?
Right.
I also think that it really proved to me how more mature Callie is than who we would have first met. I feel like when we were first introduced to the character, if she was put in the situation and something like this happened, I feel like she would have taken the weight of it on her back. Instead, she sort of helped someone else cope with the situation. And it was a little different. It was a new Callie. It was mature. And I'm also very glad that the daughter survived.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how that would have affected Callie, and on top of that, affect Rita, because their relationship is so tight. And for them, like Rita said, for her to put you in this situation, like, I'm sorry, and Callie's like, it's cool, it's okay.
Right.
To me, that was like one of the most emotional moments of the episode, just because they've been so at odds with each other. For them to finally come together, and for Rita and her daughter to come together, I feel like it was just a parallel storyline that finally connected, and it was really nice.
That's a really interesting way of putting it too, with like Callie's growth as a character.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I didn't think about that.
I'm happy about that also because Callie, I think she was saved. And she's so lucky, and I'm grateful that, and you can tell that she is, because she's taking it onto herself to be like, I'm in a good place now. Like I have to be able to give back. You can't just always ask and ask. So it's one of those things where she can accept her happiness if she can give back to others. And I think that now she doesn't mind being around these people because she's been through it. She knows, and she only wants to help. And thank goodness that she was there, because if not, then Rita would have lost it.
Absolutely. And obviously it's traumatic for Chloe, obviously it's traumatic for Rita, but I'm glad that they showed how traumatic it was also for Callie at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
She just kind of it was like,
man, it really did happen.
She was speechless. Too, like, what if I hadn't taken this seriously? Also, I'm sure she's going through her mind, like, what if she wasn't there for this girl to reach out to? Rita wasn't answering the phone. Who else would she have called?
Right.
And what if she didn't listen to the voicemail? Because she like sort of paused before she hit play, and she was like, should I even do this? Like,
because it was so
because Rita got in her
close.
head also, like, okay, how many times is this girl gonna say like, I'm gonna hurt myself?
And then she experienced it herself once Chloe asked Callie for the money. And she's like, damn, Rita knows what she's talking about.
Yeah. And it's, again, the Fosters are bringing up storylines like this. Suicide is the second leading cause in youth. For LGBTQ people and questioning, they're 3 to 4 times more likely. If you're trans, you're like even more likely. If you're Black and Hispanic within those groups, you're even more likely. The numbers are crazy. So I just like feel compelled to say that there are resources out there for people, like the Trevor Project if you're LGBT community or questioning. They also have a website called thetrevorspace.org where you can like meet like-minded people in a really safe environment. And there's also just the National Suicide Hotline. Yeah, those are hotlines, but the National Suicide Hotline, you can Google that to find the number. That's open 24/7. It's just such a serious thing that like while we're talking about it, I just feel compelled to say that there's like things you can do besides like leaving voicemails.
Right. Exactly. And also I think it's important for everyone else to be around to kind of pay attention to those things, because honestly it could get annoying, and that's what's scary, is that when someone cries wolf so many times, you're like, oh my God, shut up, and then it happens, and then what do? You know? So just like as much as some people may be dramatic, they're dramatic until it's real.
Yeah, so you try out a hotline and try out Trevor Space. It's cool. And if it's not for you, that's okay too. But there's other resources. Tell somebody else besides.
Chloe,
who will listen?
Chloe was just really lucky that Callie was there for her, even though she wasn't there in the capacity that she wanted her to be. It's just important, you know, with her mom changing her number and everything, and she had someone to go to. And I always this sounds like really stupid, but anytime I see somebody on the street and they look like they're having a bad day, I just smile, because you never know what they're going through. And if they know that, you know, you're seeing them in a sort of a bright light and a positive light, you could really change someone's day like that. So just think about it next time. If you see someone, they're having a bad day, smile at them. You know, it could make all the difference, really.
Yeah, I love that. We talked about the preview for next week a bit, but I think we should segue into predictions.
Yes.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
So, someone tweeted at me the description for the episode, and it's called 16. It says, Mariana and Jesus clash over their birthdays. With their 16th birthday just around the corner, Mariana and Jesus disagree on how to celebrate. Jesus is upset after he plans for a low-key birthday. His plans are supplemented by Mariana, who plans a huge dance party instead. Jesus is excited by the prospect of a weekend visit. Jude is excited about the prospect of a weekend visit with Connor. And Callie and Brandon strike a truce by agreeing not to bring up their respective significant others home or to family functions. But as we know, that is false, because they bring them to the party.
Right, but when you're doing that and you're making it like an agreement, that means that you're not ready for it, and you truly are distracting yourselves.
I don't believe that, actually.
They're saying, like, you know what, let's just, that's ridiculous.
I think that sometimes you need to be open with the person you're dating and say, like, hey, you bring up your ex too much, and they sometimes will be like, oh my God, I didn't realize it. And if they don't know, that's good for them to hear that.
No. They're talking about...
Is that not what's happening?
No. They're talking about, like, bringing Courtney and AJ's around to, like, family functions, or, like, basically rubbing it in their faces.
Yeah.
I thought it was, like, AJ and Callie agreeing not to talk about Brandon.
I feel like maybe it's going to be a situation where this pact happens after the party, after this whole, like, confrontation that we saw in the preview clip. It's not something that happens before. At least, I feel like that makes the most sense in my head.
Okay, if you're going to bring up that pact, then not to bring them around, that makes sense, because you've been dating this person for, I don't know if you're Brandon and Courtney, for like 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. Like Callie and AJ makes more sense, because
they've known each other for a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, and he's already been to the family, but I don't know. I'm just like, that's a personal thing. I don't like introducing like people unless they're like been dating for like 20 years.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to find out not only about that, but about the Monty thing.
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
It does not mention that, though.
Yeah.
But I'm like on Steph's theory about maybe the girl tried to make a move on Monty. I feel like I'm feeling that much more than I was before after talking about the entire episode.
Some things are falling together, but should it be that Monty did kiss her, then Monty definitely made the tweet because she saw the reaction that it had before, and that was her trying to get Lena back. But it can go both ways.
I don't know.
Okay, tell me this.
Yeah.
You're Lena, and you find out this information that might or might not be true. What do you do?
Well, I would talk to Steph about it.
Oh.
Because really, it has nothing to do with her and Monty. So it's like, whew.
Oh, you're right.
I feel like she'd be happy or unhappy. I don't. either she'll feel at that moment that no, I do know Monty, or oh my God, what if this happened?
Well, she knows Monty really well, and she knows that she is attracted to women, and she also knows that she's a responsible person who takes her job very seriously. So I don't know. I don't know if you go to Monty. I don't know if you go to the school board, like a superintendent. Right. I don't know what the position is.
Well, she'll probably go to Monty.
Yeah, everyone's saying that she confronts Monty. But on the other side of the Steph thing, I feel like there could be a chance that Lena doesn't go to Steph just because Steph already has these negative feelings towards Monty. And this is only going to add fuel to the fire. And what if it's not true? And then she has to clean that up as well. And it's just,
I think she's definitely going to keep it a secret. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're going to find out eventually. So Steph's then going to be mad that she didn't tell her.
Right.
Well, maybe she wants a resolution.
Yeah. We're finishing each other's sentences.
Sandwiches. Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that episode description is just the most dramatic thing ever. There's just so much love happening for these young children. I need to air one complaint.
Okay.
Where's Grandma been?
Patty girl.
Last time we saw... Excuse me?
Patty girl.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts. Why did I think her name was Patty?
I don't know. It's fine. Last time we saw her, she was like, "Baby, I'm sending my boyfriend off into the wild. I'm staying with you through this entire process."
Yes.
And then it was
he
like,
came onto my
"Wait,
show for
where are
American
you?"
Crime Story. He's in it, so I'm like, oh, that's where you went. You're dealing with OJ right now.
I don't know. I just miss Annie Potts.
Yeah.
I also
So
miss
do I.
Jude.
Wasn't she? Or maybe now she's not staying because it happened. I thought she was supposed to stay for the post
Recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she probably just went off with her man. You know, she's riding the coast in that RV and just living and loving, eating vegan food.
Yeah.
Speaking of grandmas, I want Lena's grandma to come. No, Lena's mom to come
Lena's
for the end
mom.
of the season.
I loved that.
Yeah. Any more predictions before we wrap it up, guys?
I'm just excited that we have a guest next week.
I'm so
and
excited.
this is going to be explosive, and I'm really stoked.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Where can everybody find you, Jillian, until next time?
So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jillian Leff. And before I go, I just want to give a shout out to my grandma who watches every week. Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Grandma. You can all find me on Twitter at Stephanie Giorgi and on Instagram at the Stephanie Giorgi.
Wow, sorry, I'm just amazed your grandma knows how to work a computer. Mine surely doesn't. Guys, I tweet from Jeff Masters 1. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.